Cori Bush. She's the BLM Congresswoman is what I fondly refer to her as. She led the crowd into the Kloskis neighborhood, the folks who had to stand their ground with their guns and defend themselves, and while there was a big crowd coming through. Cori Bush was the one that led the crowd with a megaphone through their neighborhood. She's one of my colleagues, and she had a bill, and her bill was to allow prisoners, felons, to vote. Not after they got out of jail, from jail. Just like, wait a minute, that's not a good idea. So I asked for a recorded vote on that, and here's the good news. Even Democrats didn't like that one. So we struck that one down. So we're asking for a record. So being the chairwoman in the committee of the whole is a lot more productive than sitting on a committee complaining to people like Jerry Nadler and Maxine Waters and Adam Schiff and all the funny folks about why we can't, wait, we have Republican ideas, and they're like, we don't care because we're in the majority. So I'm having a lot more fun doing this committee of the whole. But so they got so upset, they decided to pass a new rule. Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer, they passed a new one this past week when I was there, and they bundled all the bills up together. See, whoever the majority party is can change the rules. Did you know that? So Nancy Pelosi goes, well, this week it's not going the way I want it to. And they keep asking for these recorded votes. So we're going to lump all the bills together into one big omnibus bill. Stick them all together. And then we're going to erase all the recorded votes and say everybody has to vote on these at one time. One vote, yes or no. And then they put this out in a press release. And the reason why we're doing it is because members in the House Freedom Caucus, and I was definitely a big one of these people, keep asking for these recorded votes. So they were so annoyed. So they put it all together, and everybody had to vote yay or nay for this one big omnibus bill. Congress is broken, ladies and gentlemen, because that whole big package of bills passed. And I'm sad to tell you that. It passed. And it also passed because they have the majority. Democrats can pass it if they want to or not. But unfortunately, some of my Republican colleagues voted for that. And I was pretty disappointed. Yeah, that shouldn't happen, right? Rhinos. So Congress needs to be held accountable, and I have no problem doing that. I think it's important because I believe that's the job that you all hired me to do, and that's the job that I'm committed to doing. All right, so let's talk about some of the bills I've introduced. Well, there's been some pretty important ones. One of the first pieces of legislation that I introduced was articles of impeachment on President Joe Biden. I don't think the man can serve and hold the highest office in our land when he's in business with his son in foreign countries like Ukraine and China. I think that makes someone vulnerable, especially when their son has a record like Hunter Biden does. And, well, we already saw the Democrats impeach Trump twice, right? And the first one was over a phone call with Ukraine, but yet President Joe Biden has a son who he said he would withhold $1 billion to give a message to a certain prosecutor in Ukraine to back off of his son. That's an abuse of power. Joe Biden should be impeached for abuse of power. But furthermore, Hunter Biden still owns part of the company in China. That's a conflict of interest, isn't it? And we know that there was a lot of information that came out that there's 10% for the big guy, right? Yep. This man should not be holding this office. That's just one reason. I could probably introduce many more articles of impeachment, but that was the one that I introduced. And unfortunately, I don't have any co-sponsors I should have every Republican co-sponsor on there, right? We should. They said, we're in the minority, we can't do it. Okay, let me explain to you guys something. In the real world, where all of y'all live, and I lived most of my life until recently, we get things done every single day, right? You work hard, but you don't get it done like that. You start it, and you have to build it, and you have to sell it, and then you deliver it to your customers. Every single piece of legislation that Republicans should be introducing, and everything we should be working on is something we're building to. Because there is a lesson to learn from someone that everybody thinks is pretty stupid named AOC. She introduced the Green New Deal in 2018, and now it's written in multiple forms of legislation that all the Democrats want to vote for. So there's nothing wrong with introducing things like articles of impeachment on Joe Biden, even if we're in the minority, because we should be working hard every single day to make that happen. Because that's what the